This is
the Bottom Bins Podcast.
Oh, yeah! Hello and welcome back to the Bottom Bins Podcast and our Premier League coverage for the 2023-2024 Premier League season. So for all you avid Bottom Bins listeners out there, this is one that will probably go in one ear and out the other, because we are talking about our team, Manchester United, at the minute, and the absolute fucking shambles that is our football club this season. So actually, do you know what? You might actually enjoy this episode, because it is going to be me and Connor depressed for the next 10 minutes or so. Look, we did manage to scrape a 1-0 victory against Fulham at the weekend, our 6th win in the Premier League this season. Woo, unreal. 1-6, lost 5. What a fucking record that is. And I can confidently say we have not played well in any game we have played in this season at all. Watching United at the minute, you'd be safer watching paint dry, because it's absolutely atrocious. Connor, at half time, it was a 0.27 to a 0.28 XG in this game. Absolutely abysmal from both sides, to be completely honest. The lack of creativity was just hopeless. But when you have players like Bruno Fernandes on the field, like, I always feel like when you have a player the caliber of Bruno, there is always a chance. There is always a shot or a moment in the game where he will create or do something that will pull you through and get you the 3 points. And after the heavy criticism he received over the last few weeks as maybe not being the particularly ideal Manchester United captain, it probably was the best way for him to respond personally.
Definitely. I thought in general he was terrible throughout the game. He has not played well all season. But it was a really good goal. The goalkeeper really should have saved it for me, but he done really well. He skinned two guys. I just felt him on the edge of the box and put it in. I can't. You know, at least he had the confidence to take the shot, because he has got a lot of stick. But he does lead by example. I do believe last year he was one of our best players, him and Rashford. And that's why Ten Hag will stick by him, and he'll never get taken off, because he does have that moment in him. As I've said before, United are moments SE. That's another thing with Rashford as well, who didn't play the game. I've seen people question whether he was injured or not, because he was, he had the party on the Sunday. He came on against Newcastle and he was awful. He didn't want to be there. He never tried. I think Garnacho has to be playing, because he does. Garnacho gives us something different. I thought Garnacho actually played okay. A player with a bit more confidence. I just think Rashford in general this season has been really poor, but Bruno stood by example. But in general, I thought United were awful. I thought Fulham were even worse. Like, Fulham this season have been really, really poor. Any other team, Fulham couldn't even get the crowd in it. If they could have got the crowd in it, I think they would have won. They just have no striker. I think I said earlier in the year Jimenez would be a good signing. I was completely wrong. Hand up. He's done absolutely nothing. Mitrovic is just such a big loss. I think even Willian's dipped a bit. And Fulham in general are just not a good side. And I don't think I've ever been as negative after a win. I just thought it was more relief with the win. You have to enjoy the win for United, because it doesn't happen that often this season. You have to enjoy it, because we're coming off back-to-back 3-0 losses. So yeah, Bruno led by example. He got us a goal, but I thought in general he was really, really poor.
Yeah, agreed. And I think you could say that really after most games this season, to be completely honest. United just are not playing any recognisable brand of football at the minute. We knew last season with Ten Hag there was gonna have to be sacrifices, because the personnel wasn't there to play the brand of football that he wanted to. And just before we came on air, myself and Connor were having a quick conversation about United, and it's like you said, Connor, last season we were very much a transition and counter-attacking team, and that's because we had to be, because the personnel wasn't there to dominate football matches. And like, you're looking at the same guys now this season. Has the team really changed all that much? Okay, you have a more progressive goalkeeper, but you can't play to his strengths, because your back four, who are supposed to be comfortable on the ball, none of them are fit and available to play. to me personally, Luke Shaw is the biggest miss in this Manchester United side. We cannot fucking progress the ball through midfield. And we talked about it in one of our first episodes of this season's podcast. Inversion of fullbacks is becoming such a key part of the game, and Shaw has the ability to step into midfield. None of our other fullbacks have that ability. They cannot do it comfortably. And I know there will be Dallo fans out there that believe that Dallo can do it, but Jesus Christ, Connor, we watched him live last Wednesday, and every time he fucking stepped into midfield, he lost the ball. He was useless. Absolutely useless. And again, I feel sorry for him because he was playing left back at the weekend, and it's not his natural position, but he was fucking useless again. I just don't see the progression. We can't get the ball from defence to attack quick enough. We struggle. We're slow. We're laborious. We always look half a step behind. And I completely agree. You physically can't be positive with United at the minute. Even though they come out and they win the game, yes, absolutely, enjoy the 3 points. Yeah, we got to win, happy days. But like, the performances this season are not backing up results. You know, it's like you said in our quick conversation before we come on. You know, you look at all the games United have won this season. Can you confidently say they deserve to win all 6? No, you can't. You really, really can't. Connor, look, obviously the injuries are such a massive, massive factor for United at the minute. Is that the only? Well, it's obviously not the only issue, but is that the most prevalent issue that you would say is dogging United at the minute?
Yeah, I would say so. I think I totally agree. I think Shaw's a big miss. I think Martinez is a huge miss. You know, he can bring the ball forward as well from centre back. As you said, we signed Onana, and he's just lumping the ball forward. You know, we're playing like Burnley. You know, back in the day, not Burnley now. Burnley play better football than us now at the minute, to be honest. But you know, what worries me as well is like the manager said on Sunday after the City game, he chose Johnny Evans because he suited the game over Varane. Johnny Evans. We have Leicester's backline from 10 years ago. We have or 5 years ago. We have Maguire and Evans. Jesus Christ! Like, we are brutal. We have Reguilon, third choice left back, who got shipped from Spurs because he's no good. We've seen him as well in midweek. He is not good enough. Like, if you're playing Dallo out of position, and Dallo he got took off at half time in that Newcastle game that we were at, and the first goal, he never looked over his shoulder. He just let Almiron just run straight through and goal and score. And that lad is then chosen in the team to play left back. It's just mental. I have to question the manager. I like the manager, but after a few years or a year and a half, we have no structure. We have no play style. You know, Ange has been in 2 months and he's a play style. You know, some of the signings, Mount, again, a player that I did not rate. And you're looking at Madison there that's went to Spurs, transformed the team. We have Mount, who has been shocking. He's actually moved Bruno to the wing, which has made Bruno a worse player. And he's playing Mount in Bruno's position, and Mount is just not good enough. I know he didn't start at the weekend, but we've seen him in midweek too. And again, the signings again, like the goalkeeper. Why would you sign Onana? We might as well have the hand that. And it's not a dig at Onana, it's just the way we're playing. We're the exact same as last year. As you said, we're playing counter-attacking football. We're moments FC. It's been the same way for 10 years. And every game this season, there's not one game I say I could... Maybe the Forest game we came back. Is there any of the games we've actually deserved to win?
Not to my knowledge, to be honest, lad.
And it's not going to get any better. I just don't know. I think at this point it really is. Ten Hag... I think if he had lost to Fulham and lost to Copenhagen, he would have been under severe pressure, especially with international break. But who would you have brought in? And I also don't think sacking the manager is the right thing to do. He is in a bad position, a lot of injuries, but I think really at this point we're really just hanging on. We're just praying we get through in the Champions League to the last 16, and we'll get enough points till maybe January, and then we'll get a few players back like Shaw, Martinez. You know, Varane, great player and all, but he's always injured. And then you got Shaw, who I love Shaw, but he's injured constantly as well and is a huge miss in the team. And then you have Onana, who's going to go to the African Cup of Nations. So how is it going to get... Casemiro's injured. Amrabat's... What was he like on Wednesday, Connor? Like, Richie, he was terrible.
Crap, lad. But I have found this with Amrabat as well, lad, to be completely honest. He's just not good, to be honest. And look, I know you can make the argument. He signed on deadline day, no preseason, still has to adjust to the Premier League. I do understand all this, but like, Jesus Christ, like, you've played about 10 games in a United shirt, and in not one of them have you looked any fucking good. Like, brutal. Absolutely brutal. Like, you're literally the taller version of Fred, to be completely honest. Like,
I know.
no, actually, no, screw that. You're not even, because at least Fred put some fucking effort in. Like,
I can't believe Fred, they got rid of Fred actually over some of these players. I know McTominay, right? He scored goals. I just still don't rate him. I just think he offers us nothing. I honestly think it was the game against Sheffield United, 9 completed passes in the whole game. Like he just isn't good enough, and we're starting him. He was a player. We made 5 subs. I can't remember who it was against. We made 5 subs, and McTominay wasn't one of them. And everybody's like, "That's him finished. He'll never start for the team again." He's sitting starting. We're bringing Martial and another player. After Wednesday, I was like, that lad can never be allowed on the pitch again. He was on against Fulham the last 10, 15 minutes. That's what you're dealing with. And I don't even want to talk about Anthony because I could do an hour-long podcast on how annoying Anthony is because he is just the worst. Oh my God. He is I thought we're going to get an exciting, skilled player that could take a man on. He just goes backwards. He does his wee step overs and then just passes straight back to the midfield. He slows the whole thing down. Rashford's playing with no confidence. Sancho, I don't even want to talk about him. It's just not got amount. Oh, it's just brutal.
it is. It has been an absolute shit show this season, to be honest. Like, there is. You physically can't. I don't know how there's any Man United fan out there right now that can be even a slither of remotely positive about Manchester United at the minute, because it has been absolutely dire from fucking the first game this season. It has just been fucking horrendous, like horrendous. So many mistakes in games, so many individual errors, and look, I did see the stat that VAR has cost us the most goals this season, or it's hurt us the most in terms of points and stuff this season. But I mean, to even take that aside, like, yeah, okay, you can maybe use that as a partial excuse, but like, take that aside, like, it's still not good enough. And I agree with you, Connor. I don't agree with sacking the manager. I love Ten Hag, I really, really do, and I don't like the narrative that's being drawn up that he you see it on Twitter with some United fans. Oh, he needs to be sacked. They need to change. They need to be revitalized. No, how long here? Some of these boys are the same players that threw fucking Mourinho under the bus, and they're still at the football club. So, like, there are so many issues at Manchester United. I suppose the only slither of positivity we might be able to talk about, Connor, is the takeover situation at the minute. I did see an article today there from James Ducker that this will be apparently announced this month, that Ratcliffe is going to be the 25% stake owner in Manchester United. And some of the stuff that's coming out from his camp is largely positive. They're looking at Blanc, is it Jean Blanc or something his name is? He was the director of PSG. They're also looking at Paul Mitchell. They're going to come in as a duo, apparently. They have a really good record at the clubs that they have worked at in terms of transfers and even simple things like setting up scouting networks in other countries that have allowed them to produce talents that are currently playing in those sides at the minute. And I think that's something United do lack, to be honest. Leadership from the top to the bottom. It looks like Arnold and Murda are probably going to get the chop when Ratcliffe does come in. Ratcliffe has already said it's the 1.2 billion for the 25% stake, and straight away he is going to make 300 million available for stadium redevelopment and for Carrington redevelopment as well. So, look, trying to be as positive as possible here, that probably is the right sort of thing that you want to hear at this stage, isn't it?
Yeah. Again, it's what we could have had. Let's be honest here. Like, some of the billions that could have been put into the club, and we're taking this deal where the Glazers are still going to be involved. I know Jim Radcliffe will be mostly the football side, but the way the club's been run with the Glazers over the last 10 longer years, it is very hard to be positive. I think they've been really smart the way they've done it too. They didn't do the takeover straight away, like with the media. It's coming in slowly. They done it a month or two ago. I think if they would have done it straight away, there would have been protests, there would have been a lot of anger, but they were kind of like, oh, we'll put it in the media, and then a month or two will go by. They're praying they get a few results, and then it'll come out, I think, in the next month or two. With United, I just can't be positive, to be honest, at the minute. The only positive thing is we've won 6 games out of 11. Can you imagine I said at the start of the year, winning 6 games out of 11 is a positive? Because I tell you now, I can't even think 1 or 2 maybe we've deserved. It's with the club in general, it's just the way it's run is just brutal, and I think we need a lot more than 300 million to fix the stadium. And where's the transfer budget going to come from? And there's so many questions that are going to be asked, because I think the way the club's going, it's just going to get worse, because we're not going to get European football this year the way we're playing. We're
God,
definitely not going to get Champions League. No
I,
chance
I,
we're getting Champions League.
I genuinely thought we were going to finish second this season. I am
No,
not taking the
I think I
piss.
said fourth, and that was being really positive, because I didn't even. It was the Mount signing, and I didn't like it, and the injuries have killed us. I will agree with that, but the way we're playing football is just, as you said, when we're talking before, like the way like Spurs play and Liverpool play and City play, you're just jealous, because you're like, what's happening. Like, you don't enjoy watching Man United play. It's like it's a it's a task. It's you're just hoping to win, and that's it. It's not even, I hope we play good football. I can't remember the last time watching United saying, that was we played really really well there. That was a great game of football.
Yeah.
Played them off the park. It's just not achievable, and we're coming off three. Like Ten Hag, I don't think deserves to be sacked. But if we lose to Copenhagen tomorrow night, and then say we don't get a result against Luton, he will be in big trouble, I think, because the media have turned on him too, and Radcliffe's going to come in, and he probably maybe want a new manager. But then where do you go? That's what I was going to ask you. Where do you go? Because if we get someone like Conte, and I just don't know, because he plays even worse football. So it's, where do you go? Who even wants to come to United at the minute? That's the question. I know this. We're the biggest club in the world and all this stuff, but who wants to come into that situation? Let's be honest
Nobody.
here. You be the biggest club in the
Nobody.
world all you want, but if you are run by idiots, who wants to take that job?
Yeah, no, and nobody does. Nobody does, and I agree. Like, that's why sacking Ten Hag is just, it's fucking sheer stupidity for me, to be honest. And there are sections of Manchester United fans calling for his head, and I think it is dumb, because there are literally no fucking managers with any decent stock out there that are available that could come in and do a job at United. Like, I'm sorry, like Ten Hag, look, for his faults this season. I mean, the man came in last year, finished third, and won a cup. Like, he probably couldn't have done a whole pile more with the resources that he had.
Yeah.
And look, I do think in January United are probably going to have to dip into the market, and I don't know in what shape or form that looks like. But it is so abundantly clear that we are lackadaisical in so many positions, and that we have so little depth, And it is funny, like, because we do, on this podcast, we do look at teams and we go, yeah, they're having enough depth. Yeah, they're probably having enough depth. Like, fucking we don't either. Like, we're bare bones. You look at the injuries we have, and it is unfortunate because there is 11 of them. But, like, and I know that is a freak thing. Like, how many other teams have to fucking have 11 injuries in a season? Like, it's or at the start of a season, it is crazy. But even at that, like, you should be fucking better prepared for these situations. Like, and United just aren't. So
But
I do think in January it's gonna have to be fucking dipping back into the market, and maybe looking at loan deals or something to
that's what
try
I
and
was
get
going
us
to
through
say.
this season.
We made a loan last year in January, and we couldn't even buy Amrabat on loan. And I think a good point you made there about Ten Hag last season. I think he definitely overachieved by a mile. He got third place in a League Cup and an FA Cup final, and because of that, there's fans and there's media thinking, oh, he should be challenging for the league. It's just mental. Arteta came eighth in his first 2 years at Arsenal, and he got to keep his job. And I think he came fifth the third year. It's so tough to win trophies and to challenge. I know, but there's just this narrative from fans: we're the biggest club in the world. We should be doing this. We should be doing that. It's not as easy as that. That's not the way life works. And you look at Chelsea. They spent $1 billion, and they're playing better football, but they're still like, I think they're like 10th. So
Yeah.
it's just frustrating. And as you said, in January we're going to have to make signings, but we're not gonna. You think we're going to make any signings? Not a chance. They'll maybe make one signing, a loan deal. Sure, last year, what was it, Sabitzer or something on loan? That was it.
Yeah, Sabitzer and Weghorst were the two that came
Oh,
in last
Jesus
January.
Christ. Might as well have. Do you know
And
what the funny thing is? And this is not a dig at the strikers, but we may as well have Weghorst up top, because we're just booting the ball along anyway.
yeah, that's true. I mean, what was it in the last 3 games? Highland hasn't had a chance created for him in open play. Like, what?
How are you meant to succeed if you're not getting any chances? And you're seeing
Exactly,
the
lad.
work rate he brings to the team and the difference he makes to the team. Like, he is a really good player and he's really young, and he's not getting any chances.
No, but and that's the thing, lad. Hoyland must look at the likes of Haaland and think, "Holy fuck, I would love to play in that Man City team because Jesus Christ, you know you're going to get about 10 clear-cut chances a game. At
100%.
United, you feed on scraps, like you're hoping you get half a chance in a game. And like you think of some of the goals that Hoyland scored this season, Connor, like he scored 5 in the United shirt, which I think's a pretty good return for a guy at his age group, or say his age group, sorry, at his age. Um, to come in and lead the line for United, and majority of them have come in the Champions League, but they're fucking half chances he scores. Like it's not even as if he's scoring clear cut, beautiful balls onto his foot, or inch perfect through ball. Like he's not. He's either having to make the chance for himself, or it's a half chance that somebody has half created for him. So I feel fucking really sorry for the lad, to be honest. Like, and I see all these things in the media, which is to be expected. He's Man United's number 9, like, but he hasn't scored in the Premier League yet. This, that, now he's rubbish. He's shit. He's this, that, and the like. Jesus Christ, like, I judge, or I dare any other of our rivals fans, sit down and watch United for 90 minutes. You will understand exactly what we are talking about, like, and I promise you, the last player you will have any negativity to speak about is Rasmus Højlund, because the fucking lad can't do it on his own,
Yeah.
for God's sake.
That's a really good point though, because it's like you look at like Jackson's getting 50 chances a game and just can't score. I know we have our striker living off scraps. Even like Nunez missing open nets and all. Jesus Christ, it's just I don't even want to. I
At
think
least,
that's
but
so
literally,
bad.
lad, at least them boys are getting the fuck.
That's
Like
what I'm saying,
they're
they're getting
getting
chances.
chances created for them.
You look at Jackson
Oh,
last night; he could have scored 8 or 9 goals for God's sake.
yeah,
I don't even
he could have.
think Hosland's had that many chances. It's just
It is
oh
criminal. It's
yeah,
criminal. Well, look, that's going to do it for this episode, folks. I don't think we can really rant about Man United much more without actually affecting our mental health, lad. I have genuinely Man United's new nickname for me now in the house is the Weekend Ruiners, because they are literally weekend ruiners, lad. They determine how I feel from, let's say, the kickoff on Saturday at 12:30. They determine how I feel from Saturday to the next time they play. And if they lose the next time I play, well, I'm fucking depressed for the next week. Like, it is
yeah.
absolutely horrible. Like, so
But
do
them
me a
flat
favor,
out,
Man
yeah.
United. Well, look,
Them
Connor, it's as
absolutely.
simple as this. They can do us a favor. Get the finger out and start winning a few fucking games, please. And maybe play some decent football. Like, we're not asking for much, to be honest. It's not as if we're asking you to go out there and finish top of the league. Like, just do us a favor, win a few games, play some decent football. Don't think that's too hard to ask, to be honest. But yes, look, that will do it for this week, folks. Please, if you haven't already, check out our review of Spurs and Chelsea that come out yesterday. Some good content in there. And tomorrow we are going to have This Week in Football episode 2 coming out for you. Few interesting topics in there to talk about. I'll not talk too much about it. Don't want to spoil anything on you, but it's definitely a good episode. So please give that a listen tomorrow. Please go and follow us at Bottom Bins Pod. That is Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. We're also on Facebook now. It's the Bottom Bins Podcast on Facebook. So if you want to head over there, give us a like. It would be much appreciated. If you're listening to this on Spotify, please hit that follow button. It would help us out tremendously. And if you're watching on YouTube, like the video, subscribe for more football podcast content. And as always, keep it Bottom Bins.
Keep bottom ends.